So Andy, a valuable 3 points today and our first clean sheet of the season. What are your thoughts after that one?
Well, firstly, it's good to have you back as the media team. I miss you, and it'll be here for a while, so I'm glad to have you back. In terms of the game, it was a bit of sort of like refreshing that we didn't have no game last Saturday, because we've had a lot of injuries and had to make a lot of changes in the opening games via illness or injuries early doors, and so having that sort of like 10 days to prepare and 10 days to get lads refreshed, that's been really helpful. And then you can work on the training ground, and the physio team can get really into lads to get them back on the grass, which we all want. So firstly, I think that was a massive plus point today, in terms of having all the players to select from and lads feeling fresh and injury free, even though we've got one or two like Bilal and Jaden are still out, so that was excellent. And I thought that from training to the game, that the lads was excellent in terms of their ownership that they took today, and how they carried the game plan out. In terms of, we've just said in there, the gaffer just said about if there was a man of the match, it'd have to be the team today. So we're just delighted with the performance and delighted with the resolves and the character of the boys, because it's been a difficult start. So for them to show that character, like, that shows a lot for the football club, and I'm delighted for the players, just because of they've got a little bit of stick on that. So I'm delighted for them boys on the pitch, because one thing I will say is at training they've been absolutely phenomenal, like consistently. They've been a bit frustrated because they haven't got the results they deserve, but they've been absolutely phenomenal. The players have, and gave their all on the training ground to try and put it right.
Yeah, and you touched there about having to make a few changes. We've seen a few players go out on dual registration. How does that sort of process work? Do you have teams coming to you and asking for players, or do you go out and offer the players to the teams?
Yeah, I think like we signed 20 good players, 21 good players. So when you sign good players like that, they all want to play. It's sort of been hard with you're trying to get a balance of, you've got injured players, so you're forced to make changes. Like, Cameron Williams has been injured, Isaiah Osborne's been injured, Macca's been injured. On that note, Macca was ill today, like thoroughly ill. He's not trained all last week, and his performance was excellent, and what he's given for the football club, his teammates, the management has been top draw. Chet's has been injured, Stoz has been injured for a while, Mike Stenson's been injured. So when you go through that, Bilal and Jaden are injured. So it's been really hard and difficult with some lads, and you've been forced into changes. But what you try and do is trying to get a continuity with a team. So with some lads who are not playing games, like Connor Tomlinson, who's a very good striker in his own right, he wants to go out and play games. So we understand that. Walid was the same, he wants to go out and play games. So we've had some clubs, they'll be clever, and they see someone's not on the team sheet, they'll give them a call when they shouldn't, or they'll, that's how it goes, or they'll contact our secretary and say, is he available? And then we have that discussion, and we want to get minutes in some people, and some people want to go out and play games, so we understand that. So it's a bit of both, Owen. We know Connor's a good player, and he's scored lots of goals, and Walid's a good, centre off and that, but they want to go and play minutes.
So we talked about outgoings there in a sense. We've also had two new players coming in, Bo and Owen, throughout the week. So Bo's been involved in the academy. I know you've got a part to play in the academy, so have you seen what he's about?
To be fair, obviously Kyle Storers heading the academy with Nuneaton, and Kyle's communication is really good in terms of the players, what are doing really well, and obviously what we're trying to do is get a common theme between the academy and the first team in terms of a way that we're going to play, and what attributes. And Kyle's a good coach in his own right, and he's sort of coaching the lads and learning his trade in that industry, and he's feeding back. And we've got a policy here that 3 or 4 academy lads are going to train with us every training session, especially with the injuries as well, but also to be part of the club, so that they're part of it on a regular basis, and it's not a token gesture, and they earn that right and the reward for playing well for the academy to train with the first team and try and break in. Bo's come to training, and Kyle's feedback's been really good, regarding him, and he's come to training, and he's fitted in really well. He's been training with us for a couple of weeks, and he don't look out of place whatsoever. He's got a good attitude, and that that youthfulness and that energy. It brings a good energy to training, and also on match day he's got that energy around the players, and he's happy and he wants to be here, and he's got some great attributes, great athlete. So we've been really impressed with him. So being on the bench today sort of doesn't surprise me, and I hope it doesn't surprise him. Kyle's done a great job with him, and he's still working hard, and hopefully we can get more young lads on the pitch. There's the future of Nuneaton Borough. I mean, Kyle himself was young and played for Nuneaton Borough, and he's a centre mid, Bo, and he sees some similar traits in Bo, so that's brilliant. And Owen, you know, I spoke to his agent and looked at some videos. The gaffer's looked at some videos on Owen, and he's a bright young player with loads of energy, and he's come in and he's been a breath of fresh air in training, and he's shown some good qualities in training as well. And he's come on today, and when he has come on, he's put a shift in, and you can see that sort of youthfulness in him and that enthusiasm. So I'm looking forward to work with him because he's got a good attitude as well, and he's added something to the group. And the boys have already said our sort of the young lads are sort of really good around the group, and they're really positive, and they've got a good attitude, and yeah, so they're really impressed to have them two in, and we're fortunate to have them two on board.
Yeah, let's just touch on Owen a little bit more. Is it a case of you've gone after him, or he's been offered to us by Derby, or?
We sort of like we knew that we've obviously Connor going out and Tyrell going out as well, who's a good player, and you know, Tyrell's enjoying it at Ilkeston at the moment, so we knew that we lost two centre forwards, so we had to get one in, and them boys wanted to go out on loan and that, so sort of like Derby's obviously local to me, and the gaffer sort of spoke to some agents as well. So we had that chat and then seen some footage of him and researched him and see what he could offer. He's obviously played men's first team football already in Ireland, did really well when Derby took him, so the communication with Derby was good. We spoke to them and they was happy sort of for him to get some men's football and that, so it was a bit of both of our research and sort of Derby wanting the lad to go out on loan as well. That was a possibility, so it fit both clubs, and he's with us, and he's on obviously he's here for a month, and we're hoping then obviously if it goes well and both parties are happy to extend that from there.
And then in a few weeks' time we've got a break from league action with the FA Trophy. Are you sort of looking forward to that and getting a break and just something different?
Obviously, like the cup competitions, we always want to do well, and so far this season, I mean, you know, we lost a few lads like Ryan Beswick, Tony Breeden, Joe Magunda, obviously Aaron Ford, you know, a couple more as well, which we lost from the football club when there was big players. So it's sort of you need that time on the training ground, and you need them players to be injury free to get the new players sort of involved in the squad, and their appetite for it is really, really good, and to sort of feed them into the football club. But because of the injuries, it's been difficult. So having that them breaks sometimes is really good to get on the training ground and to get lads injury free, so we can have our whole squad to pick from. So the cup competition is obviously we want to do well in, and we know we didn't do well in the first one, and so yeah, we want to do well in the cup competition. It's something that, you know, we're passionate about as a football club, you know, so we're just taking one game at a time at the moment, in terms of where we are and focusing on that next game.
And finally, you've mentioned how we've had a fair few new players come in, and we've lost some big names as well. You mentioned a few there. So we've kind of had a little bit of a rocky start to the season. What are your thoughts on the season so far as a whole?
I think, I mean, in pre-season, obviously, like non-league football clubs, we had 9 pre-season friendlies and 10 training sessions at the time. And, you know, when Notts County are ringing us up late, we've already got our pre-season programme in, and they're saying, oh, we'd like to play you. And you know that you might get 700-800 as a non-league club in off-season. You have to be realistic and understand that finances at any non-league club, especially after COVID happened, is really important. And then the next minute Solihull contact you, and the next minute Oxford contact you, and they're hard to turn down. Obviously then within them there was really difficult games, and they're good for the crowd and like I said, the finances behind the scenes, but that sort of made pre-season difficult because we picked up a lot of injuries in that time. At one point we had 9 injuries, so that was really difficult. And then taking that into the season, some of them lads have re-injured, like for example Jaden Charles or Bilal Yafai got injured in pre-season, Kyle Storer, Matty Stenson, Cameron Williams, they've then gone on to get injured in the season. So that was really difficult in terms of that pre-season stage, because the teams that were playing, you can't turn them teams down because of the benefits that they bring, and the tests that they give. So it was hard. And there's some games where, listen, we've had a lot of shots on goal, and the opposition have had 1 or 2 and scored. So it's been frustrating because we played some good football and just not took our chances. But no one means to miss, and that's a contribution of all of us. But so it's been difficult. But one thing I will say is that the players have been unreal, like, because they've been frustrated because they know they should have won some games, that we've had lots of chances and we might have been sucker punched 3 games or so. But they've been unreal because they've kept going on the training ground, and their mindset has been relentless, and they've come in and trained hard and tried to take it onto the training ground. And so I need to have a shout out to them and the staff that we've got around us, the physio department, for trying to get lads back, and it's been difficult because we've had to get 4 physios in and we've got 8 or 9 lads out. So yeah, that's been a challenge in itself. But the lads have kept grafting in. What I will say in there's a belief amongst the lads, and you know, it's had difficult moments, and we understand that, and everyone wants to do well, and we want to do well. You know, and we've had. I was saying to the gaffer, he said to me that we've had 21 good months together since we come in, and we had a bad month last month, and we know that. So, but them, the players, have been top draw in terms of their attitude. So, we're positive as a group, and we're remaining positive as a group.
Well, Andy, it's been good to have a chat with you after a few weeks away. Congratulations on the 3 points.
Cheers, thanks, appreciate it.